Hi, this is Doug from the Darksliders podcast. This week, we're going to be doing another review. Instead of a full game, I'll be talking a little bit about some recent DLC, the Trials Fusion Awesome Level Max Edition. Hope you guys enjoy.
So the other game I know you played a lot this week, which I'm actually really interested in, and I
Mm-hmm.
almost bought once or twice, but just didn't really have any time this week, was the Trials Awesome Max Level Pack DLC, or I don't remember exactly how those words went in what order, but which is the Crazy Unicorn DLC that they showed off at E3 that came out just this past week. So how did that go? Like, is there anything different about this?
Well, okay, so what the DLC pack is, it's six, or I'd say eight levels of the crazy unicorn levels, and then there's 22 like normal trials levels, and then I think there's like five multiplayer maps, and then there's some extra costumes or stuff. So I'll talk about I guess the thing to start about this because people are I think most interested in that like crazy cat unicorn DLC, which is like eight levels total, and it's sort of an adventure thing where you start as a trials guy and you sneak into a secret laboratory and you get blueprints for the ultimate rider character, and the ultimate rider character is apparently like a cat riding a unicorn with a golden gun. It sounds really fun in theory, and it is kind of fun, but it's not the it's by far like the worst part of the DLC is all those levels. I guess first off, the horse just isn't fun to play as.
Really?
Yeah, it's just not as good as a bike. I at first I was like, oh, this is kind of fun and unique, but then after a while, it's like, I just rather have a bike. I
Does
would just
it
rather have a bike.
does it control differently, or is it like how different is it playing as the unicorn versus playing as like the normal bike?
It plays almost exactly the same. It just feels like a worse bike. You know how sometimes you're playing a level, you're like, oh, I just don't have the right bike for this.
Oh yeah.
That's what it feels like the entire time.
Oh, ew.
And it's really easy to tip over, and it just feels a little bit different. It still feels like it feels like riding a horse with motorcycle controls. That's about as good as it feels. And the DLC for whatever reason, I guess I don't like to complain about like technical stuff because I don't really know technical stuff that well, especially when it comes to games and graphics and things like that. But there's a lot of levels where you're sort of like warping into new different environments, which is kind of cool. You like one of the levels, I think the second level is you actually warp through all the environments you'll go through in a single level. So like you'll be in space, you'll be in Mars,
Oh,
you'll
that's
be
kind
in
of
like a
cool.
fantasy land. But what happens is like every time it switches over, instead of being like an instant thing, it does this thing where it like loads in the new level and like all the textures sort of like pop in and there's this weird drop in frames per second and like the details really low for a second and then it all loads in. But it
Hmm.
feels really weird because like Trials is so moment to moment
Yeah.
that like two or three moments like you're not really and then you're not really sure how your characters turn because when they did this warp it's like okay is my character turned right and yeah it doesn't feel very good. I would say honestly those eight levels were the most disappointing part. I will say though it's kind of fun. It kind of reminded me of a mod. That's what it felt like through and through. It felt like a mod.
That makes
It
sense.
it yeah like if you played Half-Life 2 mods or basically any story mod and it feels like the base game but just a little bit jankier. But a little more silly.
Yeah.
So if you can deal with like the silliness and jankiness of it, then yeah those are okay. They're really silly. Oh, one disappointing thing. The cat has a gun, which is cool, but you never use it. Like you never shoot anything. I
But there's like there's a button mapped to shoot the gun.
no. The cat just has a gun. He has like a
Oh, just like in the
golden desert
character
eagle.
model.
Yes, the character model has a golden desert eagle, and you never shoot anything.
That seems kind of dumb.
It was very dumb. I was kind of disappointed. I was mad at myself for being mad about that because I was like, shooting would probably be a really bad idea in a trials game anyway.
Just to add one more thing to try and focus on.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna put it in your character model, you might as well use it.
Yeah.
So I sound really down on this DLC, which actually isn't true at all because the other 22 levels are probably the best Trials levels I've ever played of the entire.
Really.
Like I played all the DLC, I played all the main game,
But you haven't
and
played
these are the
HD
best
or
levels.
Evolution.
Huh?
You haven't played HD or Evolution
No,
then.
I
So
haven't played HD or Evolution. Okay, that's what I'm saying. These are
the best that you've played from the one game in the series that you played. But anyway, go
yes.
on.
Well, okay, no. Well, I mean, I've played like 100 levels of Trials, and I would say like
No, I
these
got you.
22 levels are like the top 22 levels in the game. And the thing that I really like is the DLC before it. I think I talked about this on the previous podcast. Is the DLC before it was kind of it kind of got crazier and crazier,
Yeah.
and they could do a lot of stuff with the DLC. And this is kind of like a continuation of that. But because this time they don't actually have the other DLCs all had they each had their own theme. Like one was Robot Factory, so you all had like Robot Factory theme levels. Or there's one that was Atlantis, so you had Atlantis theme levels. But this one doesn't really have a theme. It has nothing to do with the Awesome Max or anything like that. So they can do whatever they want. So there's like a Jurassic Park level. It's kind of like Jurassic
Ooh,
Park. There's a level that's there's a UFO level. Then there's one which is really surprising and completely random, inspired by Alan Wake.
I
Uh,
love Alan Wake.
yeah, so I don't know how they got away with this, and it's really strange that it's even in there because I think it's called like Sleepy Falls or Sleepy Creek or something like
Yeah,
that, and I think which is a play on Alan Wake and what the town is called like Bright Falls or something like that. So it's
I
like a
believe
kind of
so. Yeah.
combination.
So
Yeah,
I feel like that almost sounds like more like the level creator, where you just go in and there's just random levels, kind of based around random things, but they're actually the developer actually making those.
yeah, exactly. And then so like half the levels are developer created and the other half are community created. And at first like, oh, well, if they're community created, why can't we just download them for free because they're community created? But they're really, really, really well done. The community created ones don't have any new assets, so they use reuse assets from the DLC, while the Red Links levels, the creators of Trials, they all have like unique
Assets in them.
yeah, unique art and stuff. But the way that the community like remixed a lot of these assets was really really cool. They have a level that kind of looks like Bloodborne with like these like really weird gothic castles and weird like spells and things like
Yeah.
that. They're really 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 creative levels.
See, have you played any of like the free community created stuff at all? Have you
I
gone into
played a
any of that?
little bit, but all they were was like extreme difficulty,
Yeah, you have
and
to go.
then they were
I
just
think it's kind of like what you said with Little Big Planet, where you really have to look around to get the good stuff. But because
yeah.
there is some really cool stuff in there, and I'd be curious now if those are actually available for free through like the community download. If they just picked like some of their like top 11 tracks or something.
I would be really disappointed if that's the case. I would I was actually thinking about that as I was playing it. I don't think they are because there's definitely a certain extra level of
Detail.
effort
Yeah.
that from what I mean I'm just I mean again I didn't really play the community levels that much, but I did play like Little Big Planet levels where it's like the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
Like there's a like it's not only the good levels, the really really good looking levels, and they do a lot of cool stuff, creative stuff with the assets where it's like one you're inside a computer, but okay, there's no computer asset, so how the heck do they do that kind of thing? I see now that you say that that's what makes me hesitant because I these are the best levels in Trials, and I think the DLC is worth it just for those 22 levels. Do you want to spend $10 for 22 levels? Is the question.
Yeah.
I
And
would
that's always
say,
been my hesitancy with the Trials DLC anyway. Is there are literally thousands of free levels, so why am I paying for 10 more? Has always been
well,
my holdup on getting any DLC for Trials.
well, what you're paying for is you're paying for like unique asset levels that are created by the team
Yeah,
who knows the who create the engine for it. So like you're going to get high quality. You're immediately going to get a high quality track, and then you're going to get new art assets as well, and you're getting it from a professional who like created the game from the ground up.
I guess
So
that's
to me,
true.
that is enough. That is enough for it. Then do it's kind of like why would you get an expansion pack for a PC game when you can just play an infinite amount of mods?
Fair point, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a certain amount of quality that comes along with it. So this is actually like my favorite DLC pack, which is really weird considering I didn't like the advertised part of it at all.
Which is weird because I don't feel like in the advertisement, I don't remember there ever being any mention of just normal straight tracks. Like everything was so focused on that cat unicorn thing, and
Yeah.
just to hear that that's the worst part, and that's not even like, I mean, that's what'd you say, 8 levels, and there's 22 other ones, so that's not even a quarter of, or no, more
Hmm.
than, I can't do math right now. Anyway, like that's like 25% ish of this DLC. That just seems weird to me that that's the big advertised part.
Yeah, I think it's the big advertised part because it's a lot easier to advertise a cat on a unicorn as being, oh my God, look, there's a cat on a unicorn, as opposed to, okay, these are just really good trials levels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh well, we already have really good trials levels. Why would we want that? Oh, but there's a cat and a unicorn. Now I want it.
What?
Yeah, I just think it was a way to um, advertise this DLC. It was basically, I think it was actually kind of like a trick. It's like, okay, we got these really really good levels, but nobody's gonna buy it because nobody bought our other DLC. So how do we make this one unique while still getting
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was kind of I think they were being a little disingenuous almost in order to get people to buy the really 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 good trials levels. And
Yeah,
that's not to
that's
say like the cat and the unicorn levels like aren't are like terrible. Like they're just I just didn't like them as much as the normal trials levels, and they are pretty creative though, and like you do go to some really unique environments. They're just not nearly as good as the other 22 levels. They're just incredible, all of them.
yeah.
So that was our mini review for Trials Fusion Awesome Level Max Edition. If you like what you heard, you can always follow us on YouTube where we have additional reviews, weekly news, and full length podcasts. You can also find our full length podcasts on iTunes and SoundCloud, and pretty much where any podcasts are available. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you guys next time.